This video tutorial walks you through building a fully functional AI chat application using tools like the ChatGPT API, Google's BERT, and the DeepSeek R1 model. Along the way, you'll gain hands-on experience with backend setup, MongoDB integration, and Hugging Face models. Harris from Coding Cleverly developed this course.
We're trying to build a full stack AI powered web app using the MERN, which is basically MongoDB, Express, React, Node.js, stack with ChatGPT API. And this is going to be an excellent project to learn web development, and it's going to go with a step-by-step guide. I assure that no one knows any kind of knowledge of programming, and we're going to go by bare bones. So basically, we're first of all making sure that we know JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. These are the course prerequisites. Then we'll put the development environment. We'll try to install Node.js. We'll have npm, which is the Node Package Manager, installed, as well as MongoDB. We'll use an editor like VS Code for this course, as well as use Git to set up GitHub for version control. The project overview will include basically a MongoDB for storing user queries and responses, Express.js for back-end routing. We'll have React.js for building the user interface, Node.js as a server environment, along with OpenAI ChatGPT API for the API responses or the AI responses. Setting up the project, what we're basically going to do is initialize our backend. So we're going to create a Node.js and Express application and making sure we create all of the things that were required. First thing I want to do is basically I would set up my backend. I would use the mkdir command to basically create an okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this application, basically it's called a AI powered web app. So I could say mkd AI powered app. Okay, so I created a folder, and you're going to basically do AI powered app. You're inside the folder. If you go in here, you'll see that there's an AI powered app folder. Inside there's nothing. So essentially we're going to start out from here. Now the goal here, what we have to do is we have to essentially get our backend set up. So I'm going to create a folder, mkdir AI chat app. Okay. Now I'm going to cd again, basically the step that we repeated. So I feel like we can just delete that one. Okay. So I'm just going to shift and D. Okay. You could also do it using the command. So rmdir and then AI chat app. Basically that removes that folder that was on there. Okay. And now what we want to do is we want to install. So we just initialize our backend files. So when I do npm init -y, I wrote to C users all this, and this created a package.json, which looks like this. Okay. And it has the main as the index.js, which we have to create. And after that, what we have to do is install some of the dependencies. So I'm going to make sure I'm in Visual Studio Code. I'm going to use code and dot. This is going to open up my Visual Studio Code window. So we're going to install backend dependencies, and let's start out with the beginning. So first of all, let me do that, which is Control-N-B. Just making sure that this is done. Okay, so what I'm going to start out with is npm. Sorry, so let me clear this, cls. Okay, so we're going to say npm install. We're going to install basically Express, Mongoose, .env, body parser, course, and we have more, so OpenAI. All right. So some people might not know like what are the meanings behind this. So basically the Express is essentially, if you look at here, it tells you that this is for backend routing, okay? Mongoose would be for your database, and .env would be for your environments, and more would come along the way as I like go forward with the video. So now that we have pressed enter, you'll see that these things would be installing, and our package.json basically would be updated and would have a node underscore modules. So we go here in the package.json and cross this out. You'd see that we have in the dependencies, right? We have the body parser, we have the course, we have the .env, it's Express, Mongoose, and OpenAI. Basically all the things that we needed. Create backend file structure. So we have the AI chat app, right? AI powered app. Inside we have the backend folder, and within the backend folder, we should have something like this, and making sure we have that. So let me just fix up the structure here. Going here in the AI powered app, I can name is as AI chat app. So why not we just go back here and we just use F2 key and say AI chat app. So I have to basically close my files so that it allows me to edit the folder. So making sure that this is set to AI chat app is essentially would help it. Instead of char, we'll say chat. Okay. So this is there. And over here, we'd have to create a backend folder. So Control Shift and N would create a folder, and you could say backend, Control Shift and N, and we'll create another folder, which is called the front end. For the backend, I think we could actually put all these things inside here. And essentially, if we just open up this within the Visual Studio Code, we'll have a backend and front end folder respectively, which is great. Now, if you go back to the structure, you'd have a models folder, the routes folder, the .env file, and the server.js. So in the backend, basically you need all those files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually now go into the backend, and I'm going to make sure I have all the files that I need. So again, let's go back here. I would basically dock this on the right, and I would put this on the left, and making sure when we're in the backend, we could create a folder which is called the models. We could create another folder which is called the routes. And let me just fix this up. You can create another folder which is called, or basically a file which is called server.js. And essentially, I feel like I did it correct. Okay, and then we could create another file which is called .env. So .env. Okay, we're good with that. In the front end, we have set up express server.js. Now, in the server.js file, you can set up the express server using the following code. So essentially, when I paste this in, and let me explain line by line. So what happens is that we have an express require express, right? And if you go to the package.json, we did have added that, so there wouldn't be an issue, and would have all these things that are basically being imported using from Mongoose, Express, Course, Body Parser, and then we set a configuration for the .env. We initialize our app using the Express library, and we use course policy. And then when you also use the body parser.json, so that you have JSON, results. Making sure that the port is set to default, and if not, then we can set it to 3000. And then we try to connect with Mongoose, so we try to connect with the MongoDB URI. We'll try to make sure that use new URL parser, and we have use unified topology. We'll try to make sure if it's connected, we'll say MongoDB connected, and if it's an error, we'll try to catch it and give a console log saying that it's an error, right? So if we just use the /, the request and response are in the body, the response sends us a server is running message, making sure that the port is listening The app is listening on that specific port, and that would be essentially 3000, and it would say server is running 3000. All of that is good. Now we're gonna go into this MongoDB URI. So we're gonna go to the that .env, which is right here. So I want to actually paste in the env file, and this would contain the MongoDB URI along with the open API key. Okay, chat route. So essentially, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go here in this. All right, so I'm gonna actually go the left side, and you know, I'm gonna go here a little. All right, so why not we actually bring in the URI and as well as the open API key. So I would actually use another window, how to find the following keys. All right, and then I just tell that I need these, and it would provide me the instructions to find them. And over here it says that the Mongo URI connection string can be found in MongoDB Atlas. So if you go to MongoDB Atlas, you log into your account, you can basically create something like this. It would actually have the URL string, which has your username and the password, and then it would tell that it's a cluster and everything. You replace the placeholder with the username, password, and sometimes you'd have to change in the DB name, like this one, with your credentials and database name. Steps for MongoDB instance, use the default local URI. Uh, the local MongoDB is, and then we're going to do the open API key afterwards. I'm going to use an account, so I'm actually going to one of my accounts, and I'm going to use chat. So basically, first of all, let's go to mongodb.com. After that, we're going to actually go here and try to sign up, try for free. We're going to use Google OAuth authentication. I do have a video on this on my channel, so if you want to check it out, I would recommend checking it out. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to go into what's it called? The, cluster database. So basically, I had this organization. And what you want to do is you want to actually create a new create cluster. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you're okay. Now MongoDB isn't free anymore. So I remember there used to be a free one. The templates below are set about advanced configuration options. You can also edit these in. So how in the world will I be able to? So the M2 one basically was free. Now, I don't know why, for some reason. Name of the cluster is cluster. You cannot change the name once created. AWS, Cloud. Azure, Virginia is the region, and you could say try the Node.js driver for MongoDB. Learn more in our MongoDB quick start guide. Create deployment. I'll do this. I'll go to the configuration level. I'm hoping they don't ask for a card. They do ask for a billing payment, which is unfortunate because this never asked for free. I mean, it used to always be for free. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna go and continue with the MongoDB setup, and right now my current IP address not added, so you will have to be able to connect to the database from this address. I'll add my current IP address, and that just adds it, so that you could see that this is my IP address, which was added, and you could see visit network access and modify your settings. Your organization does not have a designated security contact. Add an Atlas security contact in the organization settings. So you can just add that as well right here at the security contact information. The designated Atlas security contact will receive security-related notifications, including a notification from the MongoDB security team. Make note that this contact point is for notifications only and is not authorized for security decisions or approval. So you can add your email address here if you want information on that. So yeah, I'm gonna add my information details for my email and just save that. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to go back to the MongoDB. You can see that there's a project 0 as one cluster, and I'm just going to open up that project. I'm going to make sure that I'm able to connect to that. So I have the database access, which is kind of like that. The network access is allowing all of that. So what you want to do, you will be only able to connect to your cluster from the following list of IP addresses. You can actually make everything accessible using allow access from anywhere using 0.0.0.0 and then /0, and then just basically this entry is temporary and will be deleted. No, you don't need to do that. You just press confirm. This will allow includes your current IP address to allow to be able to connect from anywhere. Now I'd have to create a credential, so I would go to the database section, or basically I would go to the home section. And over here, what I would do is I would actually go to the project 0 and I would try to connect to this. So the way to connect to this cluster 0 is go to the shell or basically go to the drivers. I would basically use this drivers section. We'll go to Node.js, the latest version or so, making sure that it's installed, and then this is your connection string. So let's paste this in the file over here. So over here in the MongoDB URI is, you could just paste your thing that you got from there. There's cluster 0, which is the app name, and make sure you have the password set properly, which is actually the DB password. Go into the password section. You can actually create that using advanced. And in the advanced section, basically it's not in the advanced, but we go to the, what's it called, clusters. And within the clusters, you can actually create, connect, view monitoring, browse collections, and you can, terminate and stuff, do the stuff like that. I actually want to do is I want to have to create the password for this. So edit password, and we don't know the password, so I would auto-generate a secure password and copy that one. So that is that, and I would paste that password in this DB field. So just zoom this in. This is right here. So I'm just gonna paste that password right in here. Okay, and then once we do that, everything else seems to be good. Now let's go to the Open API key. So to go there, I would actually have to go to the, the instructions, and it would tell me how to essentially create one. So I would have to go to OpenAI to log in or create an account if you don't have one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually place this on the left side, and I'm going to, do this and hopefully find that. All right, so let's see what we can do about this. So first of all, let's go to the OpenAI website. So essentially, that's this one. All right, so after that, create an account if you don't have one. So I'm just gonna make sure I have, just log in using Google. I'm gonna have to navigate to API keys. So this is the OpenAI platform. And then they would have some API keys somewhere over here. Just have to check them out. Click on the profile icon, top right corner, select API keys from the drop down top right corner. So I'm gonna actually go here, and there should be like API keys somewhere, API reference. And there you go. There are some API keys right here. And so what I'm gonna do here is create a new API, create new secret key. So it should be over here. To create a secret key. All right, so we're going to go to API keys. See over here, and then as an owner of this organization, you can view and manage all your API keys, right? In this organization, do not share your API key with others or expose it in your browser or any other client-side code. To protect your account security, OpenAI may automatically disable any API key that has leaked publicly. View usage per API key on the usage policy. So do not share your API key with others or expose it in the browser or other. Basically what you have to do is you cannot share your API key with others, all right? Or You cannot expose it in the browser or other client-side code. All right. So essentially, we're going to create a new secret key, create an API key to access the open API key. Right. I'm going to name this. So, create new secret key, copy the key displayed. Make sure to save it as it won't be shown again. Do not expose these keys in your code base. Use code environmental or secret management tools like .env files, AWS Secrets Manager, or HashiCorp Vault. Environment variable setup, making sure you have those. I'm going to give a name to my key, so I'm going to say my test key, right? And again, this is just a tutorial, so I'm going to delete these keys later on. This API key is tied to your user and can make requests against the selected project. If you are removed from the organization or project, this key will be disabled. Select a project, I'll say default project, and permissions all. I actually can make select project. I actually can't able to select a default project. So I'm unable to create that. I think we have to create a new secret key. And we can't actually add anything. My test key. And then we have the default project, and we'll just basically create this. All right, so this is my test key, and read and write API resources. All right, make sure please save your secret key in a safe place, since you won't be able to review it again. Keep it secure, as anyone with your API key can make requests on your behalf. If you do lose it, you'll need to regenerate a new one. So basically, we copied it, and we go into the code, and we just place it right here. That's good. We got the API key as well. And now we can go back here into the instructions, which was back here. All right, so what we could do now is we could chat route. Before that, I wanted to test the code, so I would actually go and put this on the right side, and I would just test out the application so far. So let's see what happens. So let's see, control and backtick, and let's just run the application. So I'm gonna go into this npm run dev. I believe we have to be in the backend, so I'll say cd backend. And then once I'm in here, I could say npm I, just 1 second. And then I could say npm run dev. Now what's happening is that we don't have the script dev, so we have npm run, so we could say npm run. No test specified. So lifecycle scripts included this thing errored out. So we're gonna create the routes, chat route, and all that. So what happened is that we went back here and we saw that the npm run dev wasn't working. So I basically copy this part and I see over here. It'll tell me what's the issue. All right. The error indicates that the script dev is not defined in your package.json. To fix this issue, follow the steps. Verify the package.json file. Open the package.json file in the backend directory. Check for the script section. Ensure that the dev script is defined. It should look something like this. So you could just define this, and it should update it by itself. All right. Add or update the dev script. If the dev script is missing, you can add it to the script section in the package editor. For example, if you're using Node.js with modemon, you could use this. If you're using Next.js, you can use dev next dev. It's all dependencies. So you would basically need the modemon. So you could use that. or verify the fix, and then it should work out. All right, so let's fix this up. I'm gonna add this script. So I'm just gonna, within the package.json, which is right here. So you could see over here, there's a script section, which is right here. So over here we'll have comma, and I would put in uh, dev, all right, and then would have, you could see node mon index.js, right? So that is basically it. But you could see over here, it's not index, but it's server. So I'm just going to change it to server.js. Now what we need is the nodemon installed. So I'm going to do control and backtick. And you could see over here, I could essentially go back here. All right. See ls. And I would say npm I nodemon. Now when you do nodemon, you want to have this hyphen save dev. All right. So let's go back here and just say hyphen save dev dev. So this installs the nodemon package. You could see that it's verified right here. Should be over here that nodemon is installed in the dev dependencies. Now if I do npm run dev, what happens is I get this server started, and then I see that there's warnings, MongoDB driver warnings. All right. And then we have this server connected on port 5000 and MongoDB connected. If I go back here, there's localhost. So I say localhost port 5000. So let me see, 5000, because I think something is running on some other ones. So I do that. I just want to make sure that I don't have those warnings, so I can actually just paste that in. It would basically tell the application started successfully, but the MongoDB driver warning indicates that you're using a deprecated option in your MongoDB connection string or configuration. The use unified topology option is no longer needed as a MongoDB driver 4.0.0, right? So unified topology option is no longer needed. So what you can do is locate your MongoDB connection code, remove use unified topology. So right, this option can be removed, and then you won't have that issue again. If you are using MongoDB's Node.js driver, update the MongoDB.connect call to remove this option. So I believe if we go here, and you could see over here we have a unified topology is basically removed here, and within the .env. I don't know if you have it over here, but use unified topology. I think sometimes it's written, but I feel like no, it does not have it. And let's say yes or no. So okay, we still have an issue. Okay, so you could go to the connection and use unified topology. I'm just gonna search if I find it here. Sorry, over here. Use unified. No, I don't see anything like that. So I would say unified. No, topology. Nope. So I don't see anything like that. And it's deleted here as well. All right. And then you're going to keep dependencies updated. And then you can just say that I want these latest. All right. So you can say no. And what you can do is you can paste in these, install the latest mongoose, and I think it would install MongoDB. It installed MongoDB latest, mongoose, and MongoDB latest. So let me just MongoDB latest and mongoose latest. It should work out. Let's do npm run dev now. And we still have that issue. So what I could say is, what I could give is, this is my server.js. and this is my error. So if I go here, and you can see over here, this is what's happening, or I would say this is my warning. All right, so let's see what happens. The warning indicates that the use new URL option is also deprecated and no longer required. So you don't need that as well. You can safely remove this option from your mongoose.connect call. So you can remove that and just make sure, remove the deprecated option. Let's go back here. So you can actually just remove these options. And I feel like that should fix up the issue. I feel like it, because if I go here, so you can see over here that it just says connect to the process.env mongo URI.then, and I feel like that's pretty much it. Let's go and run this up. No. Hmm. All right, so I had to basically save that up, and I think that was the reason. So whenever I make a change, MongoDB would have to automatically refresh it, and I feel like everything seems to work. And yeah, we're good to go. So let's go to the next step in this application part. So let's go here and we'll put this on the right. So we essentially, just to backtrack what we did, we had to create a backend folder and a front end folder. It was empty, and we had models. So I basically created models folder, had nothing. There was a routes folder, had nothing, and then we had a .env file, and then we had the server.js file. And then we had a front end separately. But over here, if you look at the setup express server, we have the server.js, and inside here we have, the thing that we were talking about, the use new URL parser true and use unified topology set to true. This was causing warnings. I removed them. I created the env file and put it the connection string as well as the open API key. After that, what we did was the chat route. So we're going in the chat route over here, and we have to create a chat.js file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a chat.js file. And in here, we're just going to make sure we're using some of the code. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to paste this code and just want to see if it works out. So what it's saying is that it's const. I'm going to close this out as well. And just make it a little bigger so that you can see properly. All right. Yeah, so we could see over here that there is, the const express, and then it's requiring express. And then we have the configuration open API key, and it's requiring the open API. So you could see over here we have require, and then we have express.router, and then we have the router, right? Now what happens is that we have this configuration, and we use this open API key, put in a configuration variable, and then we have the open AI API, and we set the configuration and then create it as a variable which is called OpenAI. We have a router.post, and whenever we create a chat, suppose, whenever we use the /chat option, we have a body response, right? We collect and we make sure that we're using the no, so we're basically collecting the what's called the response from the request, right? The request.body is now in the message, and the message would basically be within the prompt. Max tokens is 150, and we have text DaVinci 003, right? So we're using this model, and it would generate a response saying data.choices sub0.text. This would be the ChatGPT response. If we don't have an issue, if we have an issue, we'll have this 500 server error. Error communicating with ChatGPT. And then there you go, module.exports is equal to router. So that's pretty much it. Connect the route in server.js. So we go to server.js and we make sure we have this route set. So what I would do is I normally, like after the connection, I could use app, right? So I would say First of all, we say const app or chat route is equal to require, and then we have dot slash routes, and then we have slash chat. All right. And then within this, we have app.use, and then we can say slash API or slash chat. But in this case, we're making it simple, and we just say slash API, slash chat, sorry. Or you can just say slash API, and then it would go to the chat route, all right? So create a React app. We're just going to create a simple React app at the moment. So we're going to go to our front end React. So create React app over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse that, go to the front end, and to go there, I'll just do Alt and backtick. Sorry, Control and backtick. And you could see that app crashed for some reason. And, it should work out soon. So what we have is routes. Um, Essentially, we have all of it ready. So over here we have configuration. Configuration is not a structure. So it says over here configuration, const configuration. So if you go to the chat, we have an issue with this configuration, I believe. So what we can do is do this and go back to our app over here and just say this is an error. All right, and then just give it that. And then we just say that we created this chat.js. This is chat.js. So we'll go and see what's the issue, right? And it indicates that the configuration is not recognized as a constructor in your chat.js file. This likely happens because the OpenAI package version you have installed does not match the code you're using. So you can verify the installed OpenAI version, npm list OpenAI, upgrade or downgrade the OpenAI. So, and make sure you're using the correct one. That's always a big issue. So the error indicates that the configuration is not recognized as a constructor in your chat.js file. So over here, remember when I said that it had an issue in saying like configuration is not a constructor, right? It didn't understand what it was. This likely happens because the OpenAI package version you have installed does not match the code you're using. So basically, to resolve this step, you'd have to verify the installed OpenAI version. You have to run the following command to check the installed version of the OpenAI package. So this command would you could turn off the server. So terminate batch job. You could just say yes. All right. So what we could do over here is npm list openai. So npm, we say list openai, and this should tell me that I have the 4.78.1, right? So we'd have to upgrade or downgrade the OpenAI package. If you're using an older version of the OpenAI package, it does not support the configuration and OpenAI classes. To use these classes, ensure you're using OpenAI version 3.2 or higher. So making sure that you have the latest version. I do have a higher, so I'll say npm install OpenAI at latest. When I do this, this updates the OpenAI, and then what we could do is for OpenAI version 3 or X, your chat.js file is correct and should work. So for OpenAI versions older than configuration, OpenAI are not available. Use this alternative setup instead. So this is older way, and you already understand like that's the older way, and then what's the newer way. So the older way wasn't, I mean, the newer way wasn't working. Just making sure if we work without the configuration and see if that actually works. If not, we can just return back to our existing stuff. So let's see. Okay, it seems like it worked out. Um, you know, without that constructor, and you know, because I was actually using the older version and it had a complaint. So it says over here, verify that the Open API key is correctly set in the env file. Check for typos for missing dependencies. Ensure that the .env is properly configured at the top of your server.js. So you can see over here we have the require.env.config, ensuring that the correct OpenAI version. And so this is for like how you can use env files within your code. You can use this require.env.config. So that would allow you to do that. Body parser will allow you to receive things through JSON responses. And now we can go and move forward to the next step of this part of the application, where we're going to create a what's it called, a React front end. So we go into the front end folder, and I'm going to simply create an npx. So npx create React app. So npx create React app, and we say front end. All right. Now, the thing is, it creates a front end folder, and then we have to install npm install axios. So the thing is, I would go here to the folders. Now I know I have a front end folder before, but I will just delete that one. That's gone. So I know that I don't have a folder anymore. So even if I do that, I just have to remove that. I'm in the base, right? So I'm actually in the base, and what I would do is I would one quick thing is difference between, or I'll say npx or npm. So what is the difference between npx or npm medium? So what thing is, npm is a package manager that is used to install, uninstall, and update JavaScript packages on your workstation, whereas npx is a package executor that is used to directly execute JavaScript packages without installing them. All right. So basically like borrowing and having them in your package. We're going to use npx at the moment just as because it's faster. The primary code role of npx is to execute packages, unlike npm, which requires installing packages before you can use them. npx allows you to execute packages directly from the npm registry without installing them. This is particularly used for packages you only need to run once or infrequently. So as stated on the npm blog, and npx packages everywhere, npm exec should be used instead. So yeah, I mean npx or npm would work. I would just use this because we're trying to create a quick and easy understanding. It's targeted for beginners. So npx create React app front end. Let's do this. Do you need to install the following packages? Create React app, and I would say yes. And then it would install this, and you could see this. All of this is deprecated. Installing packages might take a couple of minutes. Installing React, React DOM, and React scripts, and the CRA templates. And what you can do over here is you can say, yeah, just cross that out. Sorry. All right, so what we would say is for installing React front end, React, let's use npm. All right, so we're just going to use this one, and then we're going to go move forward. I'm just trying to make it a little more, what's it called? Updated. So let's go here. You could see that if I actually created everything for me, but it has some kind of deprecations, and that's why I don't want to like end up using something old and not supported. So let's go back here and just delete this front end folder. All right. And once it's done, I'm going to run this command, which is npm init react app front end. All right. Just going to put this on the right side. And it should be deleted. hopefully. Once it is, and I'm gonna make sure that we do this one more time. So let's just say npm init npm init react app frontend, and I say, yeah, I want to install this, and I don't know why that's happening, but um, so you can actually do another one and just say the warnings you see in the installation of your React app indicate that some of the dependencies used by the Create React app are outdated or deprecated. These warnings are common when using older versions of packages or tools. Here's what you can do. Complete the installation. Let the installation complete. Despite the warnings, Create React app should set up your project successfully. Okay. Check installed versions. CD frontend npm list. Down upgrade dependencies, you can just say npm outdated and verify that the project works. Consider upgrading the project's dependencies. Use the latest tools. Okay. Switch to Vite optional, and then verify project setup. So you can use the latest front end. So this is one solution. So instead of that command, so if I go back to this front end folder, I would just delete this again, and it would delete the whole thing. You can use this app latest thing. This would install the latest version. Official method to basically, if you're starting a new React project, you can use the latest official method to create a React app, such as this one, and it would use npx. This ensures that you're using the latest version of Create React app and minimizes deprecated dependencies. Once you do that, you can actually switch to Vite if performance is a concern, or if you'd like a more modern alternative, you can use Vite instead of Create React app. Vite is faster and uses fewer outdated dependencies. And this is another really great approach, npm create Vite at latest frontend. So that's also very good, but let's just keep it with the this one. This is going to install this package. We're just going to keep it for now. Um, and this is what we're going to be doing for this video. So make sure you type this one in: npx create React app at latest front end. All right. So once we have this completed, we'll move on to the next part. So just making sure that this is completed soon. And you can see over here where it's installing packages, and packages like React, React DOM, React scripts, and CRA template. All right, and then you could see that a lot of things had this issue. So I just wanted to make sure, like, suppose you're not sure what these red things are. Just basically paste it here and say that I've used this. All right, say go here, say I used this and I got this. All right, and let's see what happens. So, and it's saying that the issue arises because React Creator App is attempting to install dependencies with conflicting versions, particularly this React 19, which doesn't exist as of now. And dependencies like testing library React and require this. Here's how you can resolve them. Clean up previous attempts. Remove the partially created front-end folder. Use correct React versions. Explicitly specify React 18 to ensure compatibility with current ecosystem. So you could just say what latest React version. And it says over here that the latest version of React is 19.0, was released on December 5. But what we're going to do is we're going to use React 18, all right, just to make sure that we manage to have everything. So I'm going to remove the partially dependencies. So I'm just going to say rm-rf, and we have front end. So delete our folder. No? So rm dir front end. All children will be removed with the item. Yes. And it should remove the folder. It's kind of like slow. Honestly, I've felt that before too. But you can see that the front end still exists. So I could just delete it from here. Just leave it, let it delete. All right. So the front end is deleted. And we're gonna use npx create react app front end use npm. Explicitly specify React 18 to ensure compatibility. If you still encounter it, proceed with the next step. Use the force to bypass strict dependency checks. Manual dependency fix. And then we have CD and we have this stuff. So yeah. So I'm gonna actually use this one. Create React app front end. Uh, let's see. npx create React app front end use npm. So I'll just say, what does this do, right? So what does use npm do? So it says the use npm flag in the npx create React app front end use npm command tells create React app to use npm as the package manager for installing dependencies instead of yarn. By default, create React app may try to use yarn if it is installed on your system. The use, okay, and then you could see that the errors, okay, there was ERR, but you can see at the end of the day, it does create everything for us. So I think we're good to go. Uh, Summary, without use, if yarn is available, create React app will use yarn to install dependencies. Use npm forces the use of npm, and even if yarn is available on the system. All right. So great. Let's go back to this part. Um, let's move into the front end folder. CD front end. So we're in the front end folder. You could see over here. We have node modules, public, and we have all of that. In this source folder, we have all of this. We have a package.js. Sorry, package.json. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Axios. So I'm just going to say copy and say that. Okay, now we have this package. Okay, to moderate. So we have the Axios library. If you go to the package.json for the front end, I'm actually gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna have, let me just say package.json. Just click on it. So you could see over here we have Axios installed, CRA template, React and React DOM and React scripts. So it should be working. Just say npm I. It's just going to install that. I'm going to say npm start. And the front end should start working. All right. So it's on localhost port 3000. Okay, module not found. It has an issue, compiled with problems. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to say go back here. And I think it's over here. So just go back here. See. So that indicates because the you see package is either missing or incorrectly referenced in your project. You can install Web Vitals. So just turn off this server. Install Web Vitals. Verify the Web Vitals report. So report webvitals.js file already. Use it. And still to make sure the import the so is correct. If you go to the source in the front end, there's a web. I don't actually see that. So, okay, there you go. Report web vitals. Making sure that the import is over here. And just folder or package hyperlock can cause issues. You can try deleting both and reinstalling. So remove the node modules and remove the package lock and then install again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually run it again. So let's see what happens now. So we have report web vitals, node module failed because has already been declared. So I feel like maybe we could just remove that. And yeah, there you go. We just had to install it and we got our React application running. All right, cool. So now that we have our React app on, we can go on to the next step where what we have to do is we have to create components and stuff like that. So let's go to the front end and let's go here, which is right here. So you can see over here we have install Axios and we have the front end source, so front end source, and inside here we have components folder. Don't have a components folder, so I'm going to create one. All right. Then in the components folder, we should have like a chat.js file. All right. So inside here, I'm just going to create a chat.js file. Now, over here, you could see over here that we have a source folder. And inside source folder, we have an app.js. And we also have an index.js, right? So report web vitals is over here. And you can see over here this render, root render. We have this application. So this is part of the app, and you could see that the app.js is essentially what you were seeing learn React. This was an anchor tag, the link had the image. You could see the image you were seeing of the React, logo moving around. That was basically this entire thing, React functional component. So we go to this chat.js file, right? And we create a component, and we're gonna use Axios, so we're actually gonna run like this. So if you go here and see. I actually wanted to test out the backend API as well. So if I do control and backtick, you can see that's running. I was running the backend. So if I go to localhost port 5000, right, you can see that the server is running. You can use a tool like, suppose, Thunderclient or Postman. I don't know if it needs a setup, but let's see. We go here. And if I just like suppose run this, send, you get a server is running response. If I say API, right, and this is also, I think it's a post request, you can go here. How you can check this is go your backend and server. So you see that there's this .use API. You go to the routes and then you go to the chat. This was a post request, right? So what you could do is you can do post API and let's just see what it requires. Cannot post. Okay, error. There was a response over here, authorization, headers, and body. So body, you can have you could have what is it called? The just make this a little out, post, and then body, headers, auth. You can have. We'll look into it. We'll dig it in. So let me just go here and exit this out. So I'm going back here into the front end, and you can see over here in the chat.js file, which is not here, but here in the front end, in the source, in the components, in the chat. So you could see over here that we have import React, use React from React, and then we have import Axios. We have the chat functional component, and then we have export default chat. So what you could see over here that we have a message, use state message, and we have another. So this is a hook. This is basically a use state, React, and then this is a use state, okay? So you can see over here, if I say copy, and I say over here, let's suppose, like over here, I say are these React hooks, right? Let's see what they say. Yes, the lines you provided are React hooks. So use state hook. This is a built-in React hook that allows you to add state to functional components. So this allows you to initialize a state variable message with an empty string like this as its initial value. The set message is basically a function it is used to update the value of a message, right? We have also the initializes a state. Basically, it's called a use state hook. So we have another one which is initializes a state variable chat with an empty array like this as its initial value. The set chat function is used to update the value of chat. And these are use state hooks. Use state is a hook that allows functional components to manage state, which was previously only possible in class components. The array destructing syntax, this thing, is used to separate the state value message or chat from the function used to update set message or set chat. The pattern is common in React functional components for managing state. So again, we have a send message asynchronous function, and you could see that we're trying to send a message set chat, and we got the old chat, and we got the user you, and then we have the text message. So the message is basically going to be in the use state hook, and we're going to set the message to initial, and then we're going to call this backend API chat. I guess it's not chat, but it's essentially like /API, I feel like. If I go back to this one, you could see over here /API. It should be, let's see. So if I go to the server, it's only API. Interesting. So let's go here and then we check it out over here. So let's see. So API, because I even saw over here, we just had /chat. So why not we go into it a little deeper, right? And you could see over here that we have just a really simple page. We have a div chat map, and then you could see over here, this is input text, enter a message, and it would return this response, right? App component, app.js. So if you go to the app component, which is I saw over here, app.js, we have a React logo and the app CSS. You can just delete that, I would say. And then you have the function app, and then inside here we have a return, and then we have a div AI chat app, and then we have a chat functional component, which is this one we're importing. It should be imported then from the chat components, and it should return the app, just like how it's doing there. So just copy this one and replace it. And then after that, you would recommend just control and backtick. So let's see what happens. Go to the front end. Okay, so AI chat app. So let's say hello. So before testing this out, right? I know that this was, the UI, and it contained, what is it called, a form and everything, right? Before testing it out, I would say, because look, this is a form, this one, right? We have a text, message, on value, placeholder, and a button, send a message, right? All of this you're seeing. How to test the backend chat API endpoint using, let's say, Thunder Client, all right? In VS Code. Just go and see this, and let's see what it says. So what you would do is you would have a extension. I have it installed. It's called Thunder Client. You can go to the what's it called, the extensions here, and just type in Thunder Client, and you would get this very nice Thunder Client extension, which is this one. I highly recommend this one. After that, what you do is you open it up, all right, and you could go back here again. And what I would do is I would create a new request, right? Let's close all this out. And what I would do is I would post in this URL endpoint, this one. So so this one is /API/chat. Then we request body, click on the body tab in the Thunder client. So you could see over here body tab, And in the JSON response, you would say this message. All right. Sending the request, make sure that this is a post request. It's going to say its method should be post because it was set like that. The reply should be error communicating with ChatGPT. Okay, if there's an error, check the following. Ensure your backend server is running. So make sure in control and backtick. Backend server should be running. I'll just turn off both of them and see what happens. So I'll say this and I'll say this. All right. So the front end is nothing. The back end should be working at the moment, but it has this issue. And let's go back here. Make sure your URL point underline match the backend's configuration. If there's a course error, ensure that the course is enabled in your backend using app.use.course. So there's not a course issue at all. If you look at the server.js, I actually saw that it's using course as well. So app.use.course. This setup allows you to easily test your backend endpoints with Thunder Client. So if I go here, which is right here, I guess, but I feel like it gave the pack, yeah. So if I go here, which is right here, right, which is this one. This is the new configuration setup, but you can see over here, doesn't the router mean the endpoint should be, and then you could just say API. Okay, so there's a chat over here as well. So that's why I feel like maybe now I understand, because we had chat over here, but when I go here, yeah, so when I go back to that one, it was API, right? So that's why API slash chat or API slash chat. So let's see that. Press enter. Given the route definition in backend, you're absolutely correct. Given the route definition in backend, should be indeed this one. Why? Because the base path is API is indicated by how you set up the route in your server.js, right? So if you look at the route in the server.js, which is over here, you're using slash API chat route, right? The specific route, this is the base path. Specific route with the post request is the slash chat. So combining the base path slash API with the route slash chat results in the full path. There you go. And it's not working. So if we go here and copy and I was trying to do it. Can I get okay? You have to use the post method, and we're trying to do that with post. Let's see, body. Let's see. So, hello, ChatGPT, send. Because I'm getting this error. So I go back here into the application, make sure it's on the left for the endpoint. I get a 500 server error. Okay, so one other thing, just making sure, I mean, everything looks to be good. It was the chat route. We go in the chat.js. So why not we just see if that would work, the older one, old chat route. which is going to be right here. I know there has a constructor issue, so there was a constructor issue. It crashed because it does not recognize this configuration is not a constructor, so I just like left it back. Um, this is my chat.js file in the backend. All right, so let's see what happens. So it says the issue you encounter could be due to a couple of reasons, such as the incorrect API key configuration, such as the openai or network configuration. Steps to debug and fix the issue. Make sure the has the correct open API key. Then after that, make sure you have this set up. After that, check the open API library version. Ensure you're using the correct OpenAI library version, right? It has to be more than that. OpenAI SDK, making sure you have that updated code with the correct OpenAI library. So making sure that you're using the, the entire thing, just make sure that it's all being placed. GPT 5 turbo, so making sure you go here in the chat, sorry, over here, and just paste that in here, right? After that, we have the code uses this GPT 3.5 turbo, which is more cost effective and widely available instead of this one. Now let's see. The structure for sending messages to the API is slightly different now, and this code uses this new method. Check for errors in the console, node.server.js. Make sure your server is running. So the server is running, and we just have to make sure that the message would return. Try logging the error message in the catch block to get more details. So you can say console.log error.message. All right. So you can just go in the catch block and console.log error, right? Error.message. And then let's go back to the under client and make sure that this request. So we got a message here. So we got this message. It says invalid API key. I believe we're gonna have to change up the API key. Either invalid or not being sent correctly. Verify the API key. So we're using the. I'm using the in your chat.js. Make sure you're loading that in. So we are in the chat.js file. We are like using this one. So let's go back here. Oh, your openai.env file. Test the API key to ensure that the API is being correctly read. So you could use this. Test with curl or postman. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually log this in. So try JSON. All right, so we're gonna try this in. I'm making sure that I'm actually like, yeah. So let's see. All right, we're gonna have to trigger the endpoint. This one. That's gonna be in the postman. Sorry. So we have error.message instead. So go to chat.js. We have error.message. Let's go in here. Okay. It's giving a more useful message actually. So let's go here and it says so we're gonna go to the API keys over here. I think we had a copy this, go back here. Using the API keys over here and making sure let's just create a new secret key. New secret key. All right. Create secret key and just copy this one and go to the env. Because you can see over here we have E5ZX, E5ZX. If I go to the env, making sure that E5ZX is still there, is being passed properly. You can see over here E5. What is this? E5ZX. I don't even see anything over here. SK proj. Okay, it's not even there. It's not even being passed. All right, so I changed my API key because E5ZX wasn't there, but you can see over here. I mean, we have a different one now. So we have NMA. Let's go back here. NMA. 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 Let's just go back here again. Or here. Copy the my um, so we have the new one. Okay, and just run this out. All right, so let's go here to the backend. I could use Postman actually. Um, API/chat. All right. Body form data raw binary raw. Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pass in a message. So let's say in quotes, let's say message, and we'll say, "Hey ChatGPT." All right. So let's post it. Should be sent. Alright, we still have a communication error. Um, so if I see this, so we go back here. My env has the following. ChatGPT key. Okay. And the console log says something else. One big question we have is like, what are tokens? What are tokens 150 in the ChatGPT API? In the chat, tokens are units of text that are the model processes. A token can be short as one character. or as long as one word, depending on the language and context. Here's a detailed explanation. Breaking down tokens. Words are broken into smaller pieces called tokens. For example, ChatGPT 2 tokens, chat and GPT. Hi there 3 tokens, hi there and exclamation. Longer words or phrases like congratulations can count as multiple tokens. Usage context. Tokens include not only your input text, but also the AI's output and system level instructions like the prompt. All right, so not only your input text, but also the AI's output and system level instructions like the prompt. The meaning of max tokens 150. The parameter max token specifies the maximum number of tokens that the API can generate in its response. In this case, max tokens 150 means that the API will generate up to 150 tokens in its reply. The meaning of max tokens, right? The parameter max tokens will specify the maximum number of tokens that the API can generate in its response. Tokens include not only your input text, but also the AI's output and system level instructions like the prompt. In this case, max tokens 150 means that the API will generate up to 150 tokens in its reply. This controls the length of the output text from the model. Shorter limits can ensure concise responses, while longer limits can be used for detailed or verbose outputs. A rough rule of thumb: one token equals 4 characters in English. One token is 3/4 of a word in English. For example, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. We have 9 tokens. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 tokens. A 100-word paragraph, 150 tokens. Tools like OpenAI's tokenizer can help you measure tokens counts more precisely. Token limits per request. For GPT 3.5-Turbo, the limit is this much, 4,096 tokens. For GPT-4, the limit is 8,192 tokens, or 32,768 for the longer model. This limit includes larger model. This includes both input and output tokens. All right. And then we have cost of tokens, fine-tuning responses. Adjusting max token allow you to control how detailed or concise the AI's replies are. So essentially, you max on short response, and we say detailed response. We'll just make it more, Da Vinci, and then 003 in theory of relativity. Write a poem about the stars. All right. So explain the theory of relativity. Now, what you could see over here, NodeMon server.js. The thing is that it looks like the server is using an incorrect API key, as indicated by the error message 401 incorrect API key provided. And you can see over here is SK22FMJ. SK22FMJ we don't even have over here, actually. And it says it ends with E5ZX, right? And you can see over here it's not even ending like that. This could happen if the wrong API key is being loaded from the env file, or if there's a mismatch between the key in the env file and what is being used in the code. So verify this issue, making sure that everything is correct. You can show that this one is being correct. Check if the API key is being used correctly loaded. If your server.js or chat.js file, add a console.log statement to check that what key is being loaded. So you could use a console.log to just make sure, like, a loaded open API key. So go over here in the what's called chat.js file. All right, so let's just go to server.js, and you can see over here. Yeah, so we can see console.open API key. I don't see that in the response, so I'm just gonna remove this console.log open API key. Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go to server.js, and yeah, I'm just gonna actually put it right here. See what happens. All right. So we have the ZX SK22. Why is this even being appearing? Just copy this. One last thing I could do is, instead of this, what I would do is I would just go to chat.js and just paste in the key like how we have it. Right, skproj. Put in strings. Alrighty. And let's go into Thunder Client and so we connected it, but we exceeded our current code. Okay, so we're gonna go to the Hugging Face website, the AI community building the future, and we're gonna be basically going into this website. We're gonna sign up and create an account. So let's see, confirm if we are human. So we're gonna begin this test, and it's gonna say, okay, what are the buckets? So this is a bucket, this is a bucket, this is a bucket, right? And bucket and bucket. There you go. Now after that, we'll just have to join the community of machine learners. So I'm just gonna type in my email address. And after that, we're also gonna provide a password. Okay, so I'm gonna just allow Google to create a password for me. And then, all right, so let's say that. I'll change my password after this video, so for security purposes, but just make sure you have your password and your email already there. Sounds good. Now we basically go to next. We'll have to put in our information here. Avatar, optional, and optional. I have read the scripts. All right. Username, you can just, I'm just going to give it my name. So we're going to put this as the username. And we're going to get the email. And we're going to get the password. And then we're going to create the account, generate avatar. Let's skip the avatar. I'm just going to skip that. Okay, there's already an account for that. So we're going to do this. Okay, so let's go back here. We're just going to put in this number, new model, hub, and all this stuff. So we got this account. Please check your email for a confirmation email link. So we're going to go to the emails, making sure we accept this email verification. Now it says your email address has been verified. So we can go to this profile. Over here we go to the settings, and over here we go to the access tokens, and we create a new token. User access tokens. Access tokens authenticate your identity to the Hugging Face hub and allow applications to perform actions based on token permissions. Do not share your access tokens with anyone. We regularly check for leaked access tokens and remove them immediately. So if you go to this, there's this video that will help you, and I would recommend checking one of this. You go to the access tokens and just create a new token, and you're just gonna have to create a token, say a test token. Okay. And I'm just gonna give this read permissions, and you can have write permissions as well. So fine-grained, it has all these permissions, but we're just gonna say read. We're gonna copy this access token and make it over here. After that, you see that this is the application that we built. We tried to use ChatGPT, but because of its API key and it has an issue, we're trying to convert this into something which is going to be with Hugging Face API. So I would like to use a free AI solution model. And then we say from Hugging Face. Now I would say that this is my API key token. All right, and then paste it in. And then I say, like, we really want to integrate it. So we want to change out our route.js file, so in the route folder, we have a chat.js file. So correct any related files, especially the route chat.js file, so that it can use a free model from the Hugging Face website. Okay, so this is chat.js, and then we just paste it in. All right, so let's go back here. And we're going back to the video.
Token. Once you have your token, go to your local code editor wherever you are looking to do the inference with Hugging Face model locally. I'm using VS Code. So first up, you would need to do two things. First, just simply install this Hugging Face _ hub library with pip, and then export.
So we might need to install a package or something like that, but let's see. Because based on the documentation here on Hugging Face, if you want to connect it with, suppose, let's say Node, right? So it would have to, you can actually just go here and say Node.js Hugging Face documentation. Okay, and then it would basically have some documentation here, and it would tell you what you would need to include, right? So there's the import, and this is how you would have to do it. Like, everything is spot on there. And that's why, you have all of this vanilla JS application, a React application, a Next.js application, a browser extension, Electron, and all of these things are just, there for you. You just have to extrapolate and use the thing that is according to your need, right? And we can see over here we have these imports. We got these pipeline import from the Hugging Face and transformers. We're using all of that. So let's just keep going back here. And you can see, let me just press the submit button here and let's see what happens. So you can see over here that so it says over here you'd have to install to switch your backend from ChatGPT to a Hugging Face model. You'll need to update your code accordingly. Hugging Face offers different models, so you can select one based on your use case. Since you want to use the free AI model from Hugging, I'll guide you through modifying the chat.js file to interact with the Hugging Face API. Install dependencies. You need to use Axios or any HTTP client to make a request to Hugging Face API. Install it if you haven't already. So let's just copy this. Let's go back here to our source code. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn off our backend. The front end is still there, but I would actually turn that off as well. So just turn that off as well. And then we just say import, and then we say install Axios. Let's just install that. There you go. And what's going to happen afterwards is updating the jedi-or-sith file for Hugging Face integration will basically replace the OpenAI specific code with the Hugging Face API request. And we're going to use our API key token within the the variable so that it's passed in successfully to our route so that it can actually use this accordingly. So let's just copy this. You can see over here we have the Axios, we have Express, we're using the .env, creating these model, and you can see that there's this URL endpoint, GPT-2. Now, if you go here, change this to the model you want to use. I'm believing that this is a model it's kind of like free, but let's see what happens. So let's go back here. Let's just copy this out, and we're just going to paste it within this, replace it basically. And what you want to see here is, key points to note as model URL is used as an example for GPT-2. You can replace it with any other Hugging Face model URL. We have, Distill BERT, GPT Neo. We have, depending on which free model you want to use. For Hugging Face models, you can search ones here. So let's just even Google search free Hugging Face models, right? And it will just give you the list of free models that you can use from, all right? We got the DeepSeek AI R1 model. That is completely insane. And we can actually use that one in our application as well. So let's go back here. And then what we do is authorization header. So we have bearer, and then we have the API key. So authorization bearer is required for authentication. Make sure to use your API token in the header for making API calls. So actually, we just passed in our API key within our API, the headers. So this API key is right here, process.env, Hugging Face API key, Hugging Face API key is right there. Okay, and Hugging Face API key, now where is this, right? So this is essentially going to be in an env file. So we're going to have to create an env file here. And, right after this, let me just cross this out actually. Okay, so I'm just going to paste that, and then I'm going to put it in the Hugging Face API key. So, yeah. So we're going to put in the, yeah. So this is the API key. You can see it's defined here for some reason. Yeah, I guess, yeah, so I was thinking maybe it's in the environment, but you also just created it like that as is. So that's fine as well, honestly. Okay, so now what we have is this, and we got the request body, and that's the inputs, message. It's the parts sends the the input message. It's in the body. It sends the user message to the model. The model will generate a response based on the message. The response handling will then give Hugging Face an API. Usually, the Hugging Face API usually returns a generated text field, which contains the AI generated response. We access that using response.data, and then we give a subscript 0, basically questioning dot, and then we have generated underscore text to retrieve the model's output. And then we have that env file, ensure that the env file contains the Hugging Face API token, right? So we just like what I was mentioning, we just make sure we have that over here specified as well. All right. And then after that, we have to just test the endpoint. Now we're going to have to go to the backend is updated. You can test the /chat endpoint using the Thunder client for any other API client or any other API client by sending a post request with a message parameter in the body. For example, let's even give this. If everything is configured properly, the server should respond with an AI-generated response reply from the Hugging Face. Okay, so let's go here and let's say it's CD, and then we say npmi. So npmi. So even before the front end, I would say let's look at the back end, right? So if I say npm, yeah, npm run ndev. Okay, so I run the server, and then it says MongoDB connected. Now this is an old thing. Go to the server.js. It just has this random. You can just comment this out. We don't even actually need this anymore. And I want to refresh it. You can see the MongoDB is connected. But you have this /API, right? And then we have the chat over here, /chat. So let's go back to this Thunder client and we hit /API /chat, this message. Hello, what is the capital? Okay, so instead of this message, we were told essentially we can actually put any kind of message. So it's just hello, how are you? Let's say that, right? Paste that in and then send it. Now it's taking some time processing, and it will take a bit of time. I'm not sure. I don't know why this. It's also an exclamation mark, but there's the headers passed in. I generated the API key as well, so it's taking a bit of time. I'm not sure why. And there you go. It gave you a response back. There's the reply. Has anything changed since you? And it just gave a random response. Amazing. Great response. Great results. Okay. So we want to integrate it with our front-end application, right? So let's go here and npm run npm start, and this should run our application server. Okay, what, let's say, is the capital of Australia? Okay, let's press the send button, and And there you go. Our response says over, okay, it would give a random answer. So it's saying AI saying what is the capital of Australia, including their capital. Over 554, and then it just gives a randomly thing. And I don't see any answer. All right. So we could change our model based on this results as well. So I'll say, let's say capital of Australia. And that's essentially Canberra, right? Let's go back to the Hugging Face. I'm not sure how we can use the R1. Let's see if we can use R1, right? Let's go back to our app. So right here, right? So we're using this one, right? Hugging Face API URL. Why not we change it to something else, right? So let's go back here in the React app. I mean, this is something really cool, actually. So instead of this, say I want to use a DeepSeek R1 model from Hugging Face for free, right? Let's see what happens now. So it says over here, you just update your URL endpoint just so that you have this. All right. Let's go back here. And where is the URL endpoint? Which is right here, right? So let's just paste it right there. Okay, so we're just going to have to copy, what's it called? We're going to have to copy this. Let's just copy the HTTP and just go here and just replace it, actually. I'll just delete this old one and then replace it with this one. Now, okay, we have a formatting issue here. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna make sure I have a semicolon right here like that. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, restarted the server. And this should fix the, what's it called, the React application. Let's refresh that. What is the capital of Australia? Okay, let's see. So we're not getting any response at the moment. It could be maybe we're not using the application properly, but let's see. Okay, let's put this question over here in the Thunder client. Okay, just gonna make sure I have this question. Press send. Communicating with the Hugging. Okay, so we had an error communicating with a Hugging Face model. Okay, all right. I want to use some well-known and very good performing open source free AI model instead of the old one. All right, so let's see what it does. AI with AI, right? Send it and let's see what we receive. So it's saying if you want to use a well-known and high-performing AI model, GPT-2 is a great choice for text generation and is available for free on Hugging Face. However, if you want an even better performing model, GPT-Neo or GPT-J could be suitable alternatives. These models were designed basically to be more capable and performant than GPT-2. And if you want to use is a strong choice, you want to have to just actually change this endpoint to this, right? Just copy this. Let's go back here in the chat and just replace this one. And we got the Neo. Okay, let's go and just say this. Okay, we have an issue with that as well. Let's see. Okay, so Neo has an issue too. Too many requests. Okay, we're using. Okay, we're gonna have an update here. Let's go back to this 1 second. Go back here. Okay, let's go to the token thing where we created our account. Yeah, so see over here. Create a new one. Let's just say sample. Okay, and then we'll just give a read access and we'll just generate that token. We'll just copy this and we'll do done. Go back to the application and we're just going to replace this one with this. We're going to go to this env, make sure we replace this one with this, right? Just turn the server off. And what we're going to do is we're going to run this. And it's processing. So we're going to be using this this other model. And there's going to be so many others, but let's see. It's GPT Neo model. Processing, and it should give a response soon. It takes a little bit of time earlier on. And, one did work before. But if we want more success, I guess we'll have to do a little different ways. We'll have to achieve. But let's see over here if it's request processing. One of the things did work out, but let's see what happens now. So it's taking time actually. Oh, there's a server error 500 GPT Neo. So I'll just say. All right, so let's go back here to the because one of the things worked, right? The original one worked. This is what I get with what's it called? GPT Neo. Okay, 500 error. Search the. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, what is this one? 1.3b? No. Are there any other well-known and free AI models used which provide nice responses in Hugging Face? Okay, just like GPT-2, yeah. Now we have GPT-2, BERT. Let's see. No, we're not trying to do that. We have GPT-2, BERT. Okay, I'll try to do BERT actually. Let's see what happens. So what we need is the URL endpoint. So let's say, what should the API URL be for? Okay, and let's say GPT-2. We'll try again both of them. And I turn on search for some reason just so that, let's see. So you go over here, you'll see that the, what's it called? Models base URL, and then there's this Google BERT base on case. Let me just check this out. Too many requests. All right, so let's look at the other one, which is GPT-2. Just copy this and see. Okay, we're just getting too many requests. API documentation is right here. All right, so we have a lot of the ones that are here. And there's a lot of models as well, so upload file, stuff like that. I'm gonna try to go to the, what's it called, the old one. because I guess BERT was also working, right? From Google. Copy this and paste it here. And we'll go here. And we'll go here, and we'll just go here. Go here as well. Sorry, I think I did something messed up. Okay, no. Right here, send. Yeah, we have some communication issue. 404 error. Do you think this even exists? I'm not sure. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, let's go back here. Rate limits. Look, I'm giving 1,000 requests per day and signed up users. We're basically signed up, right? But still, for some reason, it's not giving us a proper response. Might have to wait a little, I guess, which I don't want to. I want to really complete this. I'll just copy this one, paste it in. Okay. Copy this, run, sample response, send. This one does work. Okay, it doesn't give proper responses, honestly. So if I go back here to my application where it's running, right? So what? Say, what is the, let's say, tallest building in the world? All right, and let's just send it. And then it would give you the response back after some time. Now, it looks all good, right? But still, like, there's some things that we can fix upon. Right, there's a lot of requests overloaded. So I could search over here, like GPT-2, right? I could just say GPT-2. If I just, no results. GPT-2, no. GPT-2. Okay. Okay, so let's just say, okay, what about this one? So, okay, if I go here, okay, I would paste it here. I think it's right here. Yeah, so I would go here and just replace that GPT to, man, this is DeepSeek R1, and then just copy that. So just paste that right here. All right. MongoDB connected. I don't think so it would work. Because I believe it's some other URL endpoint, right? How are you gonna do this? Like, how do we even do this, honestly? I think maybe okay, so I feel like maybe it's this one, so we'll just have to copy this endpoint URL. So let me just copy that. Till here, 32B. Copy. Paste it right here. Okay. Not sure if that would even work either. Awesome, it worked. So we got the DeepSeek R1 model, and let's refresh this application. Give it the same question. Let's say we give a question, say, what is the capital of Australia, right? Should give a response back. Because the API endpoint was working, right? Sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. Let's see. Tallest building. Yeah, it has a limit on it, so we might have to change our API key for the last time, I feel like. So, yeah, 500 error. So what I would do is I would say turn it off, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to go to the what's it called, website. I'm going to delete both of these API keys, right? All right, and delete this one. I'm just going to create a new one, say sample token. All right, read access, create token, done. Oh man, I didn't copy it. Delete, create new token, sample token, read, create token, copy, done. Paste the token here. And then paste the token here. And what we're going to do is we're going to run it. So we're going to have npm run dev. And try to run it right here. So let's go back here, open it up. And we'll give the question, see how it goes. So the capital city of Australia. And we got the capital of Australia as Canberra. All right. Perfect. Awesome. One more question. Let's say, what is the tallest building in the world? All right. We can make this UI even better with the, what's it called? Some JavaScript and stuff. But right now, what is the tallest building in the world? And it's giving, so if I need to figure out the tallest building in the world, I remember hearing about some tall, really tall building in places like Dubai and New York, right? And it's giving us Burj Khalifa in Dubai. So I would say New York called the One World Trade Center. So when I could say to you that this is response is coming out from this AI model, and you can format the response better, you can make it better, you can make this application better. But what do you think about this video? I don't know your thoughts, but let me know what you think. There's a little, I'm using the free version of Hugging Face, but you can always get a downloaded and a better version of it. Go to the pricings, and the free tier just has free unlimited public models, datasets, and create unlimited orgs with no member limits, access to the latest ML tools, and open source community support, right? Which is going to be forever free. But if you want a pro account, you would have this 0 GPU and dev mode for spaces and all that stuff. And Enterprise Hub is that. So that's pretty much it with this. Upgrade your space compute. You can have free CPUs, build more advanced spaces, and optimize hardware available from CPU to GPU to accelerators. This is basically it for this application. Let me know your thoughts on this. Any questions? What do you think about this video? And yeah, that's pretty much it from here.